Hello, this is going to be a short series of videos how to troubleshoot Win32 apps. And we're going to start by packaging 7-Zip, a file extractor from compressed files. And we're going to package this and we're going to do some modification to make it fail by purpose. And I'm going to put the exact description how to not make it fail if you follow this video and actually want it to work. And then we're going to troubleshoot and fix this error and see where we look to troubleshoot. So if you're only interested in troubleshooting, you can skip the next video. Let's start the package 7-Zip now in this video. So we can go to google.com and so 7-Zip, very popular software. For some reason I got it a bit in French. Let's go it here. So here we got it. Now I'm in very late September 2022 and they released the version 22.01 here in 15 July. Let's take MSI, that's always nice, and always 64-bit. So let's download that. So we got the file in our download. See if I have a clean download. I have some other stuff I should have cleaned up. So this file, I'm going to cut it, and I have done a full series how to package, so I'm going to go pretty fast. There's a link if you want to follow it. It's 33 videos and you're going to master Win32 app application, but you don't need that to follow along. So I'll go under my_JBN Intune packages, and we have a template if you follow the course, but I'm going to recreate everything from start. So let's create the folder. And we're going to call this one 7-Zip, the version number 22.01, the architecture 64. And in here we're going to create multiple folders, one output, and we're going to create one source. And in the source we put, I will paste in our downloaded MSI file. And we're also going to have the install script and other stuff. So let's create the install script in PowerShell. So let's do that in PowerShell ISE. Sometimes it looks like this when you start it. So just click there to get the white background. And I like to put some comment to explain what this script is for. Install 7-Zip 22.01 64-bit. I'll put the author, myself, and the date. Today's date is 26 September 2022. So you'll look at this, probably have a more recent version, so download the latest version. This was the latest version at this time. So let's start. So I usually like it to have a log file, so under C program data under custom folder, and if that doesn't exist, it fails, so I create that. So check if log folder exists, and we can do that with an if, and then not, and to check if it doesn't exist, and then we can do test path, and my log folder, I like to put it on the program data JBNLogs, and then I do a curly bracket and end curly bracket. So that means if this path doesn't exist, then create it. Actually, we can do some variable, not needed either, but that's good habit. So we can create a variable called JBNLogs, and we can set that equal to this path here. So I'm going to cut this one out, put it in quotation, not really needed, and then use this variable instead to check if this path exists. If it doesn't exist, we want to create it, and then we can use a new item. What kind of item type is it? Well, it's a directory. And path, it's going to be our variable again, and we can add a force for that. So if this path doesn't exist, the C program data JBN logs, then create it. So now we are confident that the path is there. So now we're going to do the actual install. So first we're going to have a variable for the install file. I will call, well, actually we could have created that one under variables. Why not? So JBNInstallFile, and that's the actual name of our install file. And I think I still have that. One of my favorite is Windows V. See if I have enabled that. I have not. So now I'm enabling this one. So I have a clipboard. So now I will have to go back and take the name of the MSI, because that's the one I want. So I'm going to do a fake rename, F2, Control A, Control C, and then have that here. So if we put $JBNInstallFile, we'll get this name. And we need some other variables. So we can do one called $JBNArguments. And those are the arguments that we will pass on to MSI.exe. And we want to do it quiet and no user interface. We want to have a log file. And where should the log file be? Well, we can point it to our other variable, which is called JBNLogs. And then we can call it install7. Why not another? Nah, I skipped the dash 7zip, the version 22.01x64 file. So if this log file here, folder doesn't exist, this command will fail, but we have code here to ensure it's there. So that looks pretty good. We can add a no restart also. It won't ask for restart, but that's a good habit to have. We need one more variable. If we just say install file is here, it's going to look for this file at the current path right now under user JBN, and this file doesn't exist here. So we have to have a relative path that changes, that is a bit dynamic wherever it is. So we're going to create the so-called script root. So I'll do that a bit higher up here. $JBNScriptRoot. And that's going to be split path. All this I will be putting in the description of the video. Split path. Hopefully, yes, I like that with the partial IC, it fill in. MyInvocation.MyCommand.Path. So this part here, JBNScriptRoot, means that this file that we haven't saved yet, whatever path that is, it's going to be script root. And if we put the MSI file, this one, together with this PowerShell script, they're going to find each other because they are in the same path, which is JBNScriptRoot. So let's add that also here. And then do a backslash. So now we have all our variables. So now we could actually install 7zip. And we do that with start process. What we're going to run? We're going to do a file path to what? Well, we're going to run our install file. So let's take our install file. Then this one wants some arguments, argument list, and our argument list is $JBNArguments. Good if I copy the S also. Computers are rarely forgiving if you miss something. And we can do /wait until this one is released. So now this script, we could add more, or actually I think it's pretty good, but if we wanted to change some registry key or add shortcuts or anything, but this looks pretty good. So we could save this one now. And where do we save it? Well, into our, where we have our package, where we created our source folder. So in here we also have our MSI file, but we are only showing files that end with the PS1 and all. So let's change this one. Let's call this one Install-7Zip22.01x64. Did I type that correct? Yes. So we have our script and we have our MSI file. So we're going to run this file in our package in our Win32, and that one will be calling this file, and it will always find it because our script root, if we would run this file right now and install on this computer, the script root would actually be this path where the script is running. And since this file is in the same, and we put that in our file, that how to find the install file was JBNScriptRoot, which in this case would be here, and then find this file. So with this, as soon as these two files are together, we can run this script. If I would create another folder here, for example, and call it X, and then move this file here, I would have had to change this to X \. But since they are in the exact same folder, we are good to go here. So we are ready to package this. I have two more things I would like to do, and that's in my course. If you have followed that, you know that. I would like to have an icon if we put it in the company portal. And we also need the tool to actually create our Intune Win file. So let's download this tool. Open a new tab. It's called Win32 Prep Tool. It's on GitHub. Let's see if that gives the good one. Hopefully it's this link. I'm going to put the link in the description. This one was updated 18 days ago, but the actual file that we want was 5 months ago. So yeah, let's click on that one and download. It's very small, 54 kilobyte, we could say. So I go in here, and again, if you have a template, you don't have to redo this all the time. I'm going to cut this one out, and I lost my window. So let's go back to our package here, Windows 7, source. No, we don't want it in source, we want it outside source. So now we just need an icon also. That shouldn't be too difficult to find. We want the 7-zip icon. PNG would be nice, then it's often transparent. Ooh, very nice ones. I think this simple one works good. It's an SVG. Oh, here's one to show only PNG. It looks like it's an SVG. Let's take this one PNG then. It's not that important. PNG, perfect, and we can see that it's transparent. Save this image as, and I go back to my package, Intune packages, 7-zip, and we put it here, logo. Let's call this one logo-7-zip. Perfect, PNG. Now we are ready to create our package. Oh, there I had one open. So we have our source files. We have the tool that's going to create the Intune Win file, and we have a logo. So let's create, so output here is empty, but that's going to change. I'm just going to double click on this one. It's going to ask us for 4 questions. So where's the source folder? Well, it's here. I shift right click and copy as path. Then it's going to ask for the setup file, the installer. And this is not so important. You can basically take whatever you want. If you have an MSI, I always recommend to take the MSI because it's going to fill in some stuff for you for free. The output folder, well, it is this one. So I'm going to copy this one here. And the last question is always no, unless you're running Windows S version. Okay, so we have created fairly small to less than 2 megabyte. So let's create the actual package now in Intune. So we go into our portal under endpoint.microsoft.com. We go to apps. I'll go under Windows. And here's our list that we have created in previous videos. Let's click Add. And select type. If you have a long list of a lot of different types here, it's because you didn't go under Windows. Then it doesn't know. Then you think it can be for Android or anything. So down here we have Windows app Win32. We do select. And I go pretty fast here. So we select our file that we just created. I'm going to browse it. And it's in our output. Here it is. And then we have the program. I like it pretty much. I think that's a bit too much. Can go with 64. Description should have something better here. Zipped file extractor, probably not the best description. Let's go with that for now. Publisher name, they don't really have a publisher. Could repeat the 7-zip, then it looks twice. I'll still do it. I like to have some sort of publisher. App version, perfect. Category, I'm not a big fan of that. Let's call this productivity. Not the feature that means it's more visible in the company portal. I like to put notes, and I'll put today's date, 26 September 2022. I put my own name here if someone else in my big company is wondering, hey, who did this? And here come the image that we downloaded. I'm gonna browse that, and here comes our PNG. Excellent, and it shows up here. So that step went very well. We could keep this and it would totally work, but we would not get our log file, and we could add our log file, but then we can't verify if the folder is there. So we want to run our script. So we're going to do PowerShell. Normally you would do .exe, but I actually want this to fail because in the next video we're going to troubleshoot why it failed. So I'm actually going to put PowerShell.com, which won't work. And then we do execution policy, and we can put that bypass. Just check the spelling. And then which file do we want to run? // and the file we want to run is the one in the source. It's this PowerShell. So I do an F2, Control A, Control C. And we're going to correct this error in the video. If you're following along just because you want to package this, yeah, change this to exe, then it's going to work. But we want it to fail. So I'll put .com or something that sort of looks right when you first look at it, but no. Normally we should have created an uninstall script, but this one's going to work perfect, so we can keep this one. We install for system, and no specific action for restart. We decide, and in our script we put no restart. We don't change any return codes. Requirements, I'm going to require 64-bit OS since we're installing a 64-bit. I'm going to require, it doesn't have Windows 11 on the list, interesting. Let's require fairly, that's an old one. I'm generous. I mean, technically 7-zip would work on this version here, but you generally don't want so old Windows in your organization. So I don't know how much 7-zip takes. Normally I should have looked at, but it's not required, only these two. And I want this one to go pretty quick. Detection rule. This one I would like to do a manual one. So one that would work would be to take the MSI. So if you're following along this video because you want it to make it work, do that, choose MSI. I want this to fail in order for us to troubleshoot and see in the logs. So I'm going to look for FilePath, which is a very good method, but I want it to fail. So I'm going to, by purpose, do a mistake here. 7-zip, and I think that's the path, and the file is 7zip.exe. So how does it know that this have been installed correctly? Well, it's going to go under C program file 7-zip and look at 7zip.exe and verify that the version is greater or equal to, and I'm going to put 23.0, and we are packaging 22. So it's going to say, hey, 22 is not, so it's going to fail, and we're going to see that in logs. And it's not a 32-bit app. on the 64-bit client, then it would be x86. So we keep that no. Click OK. We're nearly finished. The video getting long. Dependency, there are no dependencies. It doesn't supersede anything. Assignment, I'm gonna put it available so we can see it in company portal. That's not the way normally you deploy 7-zip. That's a base one you could apply to all your machines. I'll add it to all users here. And show toast notification, I like that for company portal, so let's keep that. So now it's gonna upload. Normally it shouldn't take that long time. And before it have uploaded, you can't change anything. You'll see if we go properties here, it's not gonna be blue underlined, so we can't change it until it have been uploaded first. I'm feeling you haven't even started to upload it yet. Yeah, it is ready. Okay, so it's finished. So in the next video, we're gonna try to install it from company portal on one of my test machines. And obviously it's gonna fail because we have PowerShell.com and it should be .exe. So let's see how we can troubleshoot that. So well done. In the next video, we will look how to troubleshoot this, because obviously it won't work, and see in the log files. So well done. See you in the next video. Thank you very much.